This time on the Highland Woodworker.
When I went from a 1,200 square foot shop and I downsized, it's also hard to get rid of anything too.
Jeff Wyatt is the ultimate garage woodworker. Instead of parking 2 cars in this space, see the impressive tool layout he uses to maximize his work area to create masterful pieces like these. Then Popular Woodworking will showcase 2 huge helpful tips when working with tiny screws in your project. Plus, learn the importance of versatility when choosing that perfect workbench for your shop. And will hard wax oil be the perfect solution to finish your furniture? We'll try to make that decision simple. These stories and more, this time on the Highland Woodworker. Hello, I'm Charles Brock and I'm a Highland Woodworker. I just love Highland Woodworking in Atlanta, Georgia. That's where I get all my fine woodworking tools, woodworking supplies, and I get a great woodworking education there. You'll love it too, whether you're shopping it in person or on the web at highlandwoodworking.com. They've been delivering great tools and a great education for 45 years. When Jeff Wyatt moved into his current home near Nashville, Tennessee, he was faced with a dilemma that woodworkers know all too well. Do I use the garage for my cars or turn it into my workshop? Like so many of us do, Jeff chose the latter. He has maximized every square inch of his workspace for maneuvering and chair building. Let's meet Jeff now, tour his shop, and hear about his notable mentors that helped him elevate his work along the way in our Moment with a Master. Jeff, I've taken a little tour back there, and we're going to be in there later on, but what I see is the best, most complete 2-car garage wood shop ever. I mean, everything you would want, like Ed McMahon used to say, you will find in that shop, and it's all set up to be used, and you do some great work.
Oh, thank you, Chuck. I appreciate it.
Well, tell me about it.
Well, you know, we have limited space. You know, you want to make the best of it. So anything that's in there is things that I use on a daily basis. If it's not, it'd just be in the way. You know, as every woodworker, I wish I had more space. But when I went from a 1,200 square foot shop and I downsized, it's also hard to get rid of anything too.
Wow. I mean, you have really got this packed in here.
Yeah, it's...
Yes, but you know where everything is. I can see how everything is approachable.
Right.
Is kind of a workflow, like you've got sharpening here for everything from your lathe tools to chisels and so forth. You've got great equipment. I mean, just kind of, you name it. You've got storage, and it's stored.
Right.
It is packed in here. Yes, it is. But it's quite impressive for the garage woodworker gone wild. Yeah, because you do bowls, you do chairs, you do drawers for chairs, like the little desk Windsor. You do a lot of different things, and you can do it all in this shop.
Yeah, which is nice.
Oh, it is. So take us on a little walk and talk, if you will.
Sure. This is, I have my shaving horse, bandsaw, and my 2 lathes. So all my spindles I'll turn in here. This is where I'll primarily carve the seats.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a nice way to do it.
Yeah.
And this turns?
Yeah, it turns, and the nice thing about this, you can get around all the way around. So even though if I had this workbench, which is nice, but then I'd still be clamping it on the corner of the bench, which I'd want to be working at. This allows me to go ahead and I can just walk around and move nicely.
Yeah. What inspired you to become a woodworker? How did that journey start?
Well, it started with my father. He's a woodworker, and a lot of the stuff in the house that we built our dining room table. We built a lot of our own furniture, but it was out of necessity. It wasn't because he really wanted to. He enjoyed it, but it was cheaper to do that. So, and I was kind of in charge of sanding.
So many of us started out with sanding.
Right.
Yes. A lot of people find sanding such a dismal existence that it might kill their woodworking interest, but not you.
No. And the one thing I love to do is make chairs. I signed up with a class with Pete Gelbert, and during that internet search, I found a guy named Greg Pennington, which lived right around the corner from me. I was pretty amazed about with Greg and the amazing work that he did, the school that he ran, and he didn't know it at the time, but I was going to be his best friend. Or I visit him quite a bit.
What has been the emphasis for your development? What's helped the most?
Just allowing myself to fail. You know, the first time I made a stool, it was a three-legged stool. At that point, that was the highest skill set I was at. You know, now I can go ahead and build a comb back rocker or a child's high chair or any other Windsor chair. But it's learning to build on that skill set that you have right now, and then also looking at and getting a mentor to help you in that journey. This is a writing armchair. This design is from Greg Pennington. It's very comfortable, very nice. I like the size of the paddle. It's a beautiful chair. It's very useful too.
Yeah, and it's got utility with drawers in it.
Yep. Yeah, hand-cut dovetails.
And it's kind of a big piece, so you can be very comfortable sitting there for a good while you're writing or taking notes or something like that. Great utility. And this is kind of your newest project.
Yeah, I'll be teaching this up at the Sam Buford School of Woodworking in Michigan. This is a really nice chair. It looks extremely well once it's finished, and it goes in the kitchen of a dining room. I really love making this high chair.
Yeah, and this is in the white, as they say.
Yeah.
And tell us about the carving here. That's just a beautiful element that you see in Windsor chairs.
When you get the plans from Curtis Buchanan, it has the scroll pattern, and it looks very intimidating the first time you do it, but the way Curtis has done his plans, it'll almost fit your chisels. And the nice thing about wood carving chisels is they have an exact pattern and shape to them. So if you buy a 513 in this brand or that brand, they'll be so close to each other. You lay it out, and before you know it, you'll have a nice S-curve.
So this would be the sweep, that number would be the sweep that would fit here, and using almost a prescriptive way to carve it, a person could work at it step by step and come up with a nice design like that.
Yeah, and it's nice that the comb has that, and then also the hand holes here also have that same carving.
Yeah, I see on the side right here. Yeah, that's nice, very nice. But you would have different sweeps here than
right
there.
Right.
Yeah, you seem to have a lot of my favorite chair designs. I'm kind of envious here. You've got a Brian Box slat type Appalachian rocker, is that right?
That's right. I learned how to make this with Jeff Lupkowitz. He's a master teacher at this, And it was really refreshing to take a ladder back class, learn a different style of chair. Jeff does just such a wonderful job teaching this.
Yeah, these are hand bent or steam bent.
Steam bent, and then they're hand shaped. They have a nice facet up on top. These are sized right to the mortise. And then he also has these nice little diamonds that these are all hand carved in here. He uses the end of an auger bit.
Right.
It's cut off, and then that makes the square hole, and then you put a peg in there, and then actually shape that to forward side to make that nice diamond.
Beautiful. And what I really love are the facets.
Yeah.
All made at using a draw knife.
A draw knife and a spoke shave.
Yeah, you could feel it. It's so organic. Really puts you in touch with the wood that you love. It's just wonderful. Long facet here.
Yep.
And that helps with taking that pressure off your elbow when you're sitting there reading or whatever. It's just a wonderful design and well executed. I'm so happy to see that here. And then you have this chair.
Yeah.
Tell us about this design.
This design's based off Pete Gelbert. He did plans for fine woodworking years ago, and this is loosely based off of that plan. This is a very nice chair. These are both, then this one is just without the rocker. Same type of chair.
Yeah. It's kind of taking the Windsor rocker or a Windsor chair and making it maybe more modern or mid-century modern.
Right.
Yeah. And just beautiful. Instead of having spindles that are more rounded, this is more of a
Maloof style.
Maloofian or Maloof style.
Maloof style.
Yeah. Very nicely done.
Yeah, and the thing I like about this is when you take that divider and put it up here, and you get that nice swoop that comes up.
Yeah, so that kind of swings across here, just like the seat bowl here. And that all the elements work together just beautifully in this chair. Jeff, you've come such a long way with your craft and all of your interest as a woodworker. And you have started teaching.
Yeah, it's a good experience. I do a hand-cut dovetail class, and it's really nice to take all the failures I've had in doing dovetails and condense that down to where this is what's worked for me and this is what might work for you also. And I've had good success that I've done that class a few times now, and all the students have been able to come out cutting dovetails for the first time. And that's the first time you do it, you're not sure if they're going to take to it or not, and then they did, and it was a good feeling. And then also, I have my son Copper. It's also nice to have him in the shop learning to cut dovetails, and he's only 9, so it's fun.
Do you see a budding woodworker in your son?
For sure. One thing about Copper, he'll come in the shop when he wants to, and he'll work. Sometimes he'll work all day with me, and other times he'll just say, "Can we go play basketball?" And so we stop and go play basketball.
Jeff, what is your place in woodworking? How would you, when you're much older and you look back on your career as a woodworker, what would you want? What impression would you want to leave with everyone?
Just the ability to go out and help people and teach people the Windsor chair making. Just really to be a good friend.
Meet the Bora Centipede, the lightweight and portable workshop table that supports up to 3,000 pounds. stores in a small space for tight shops, and opens into a work table to bring your work to a comfortable height. This makes the perfect companion for your track saw. Comes with X cups and hold downs to secure your work. Just add the Boro Workbench top and you've got a great auxiliary table anywhere in your shop. Upgrade your shop today.
There's 4 words that Lee Tools lives by. 4 words that mean quality joinery to take your projects to the next level. Whether it's dovetails, box joints, or mortise and tenon. And we'll even help you clean up. Those 4 words: better tools, better results.
Whiteside Machine Company has been in business for over 30 years providing customers with quality router bits. Fine Woodworking Magazine has declared Whiteside router bits best overall and best value when compared against 17 other brands. No matter the router application, they have the type and profile of carbide router bit you need. When you put a Whiteside router bit to work in your shop, it is guaranteed to make you smile. Well, there's nothing like an oil and wax finish. It's easy to apply, easy to maintain. Everything's wonderful about it. It leaves a very natural look as the oil fills the pores or surfaces on the wood, and then you wax over it. It is a great finish. I've used it for years and years. Well, now we're ready to do something brand new with an oil and wax finish. This is General Finishes Hard Wax Oil plus a hardener. That really caught my attention and I'm excited about it. This is the first time I've used it. The idea is to cut down on the drying time, which with an oil and wax finish, the oil, as you apply coat after coat, takes maybe even days, up to 10 days for a coat or for all of the oil to dry and kind of flash the solvents off. But this is even better because it dries faster and it's more durable. It gets harder quicker. Sounds like a winner. Now, I've never used it. I'm going to use it for the first time on this piece of wood right here. This is almost a veneer grade piece of walnut. And so I think it ought to really pop and look very warm and inviting with this finish if it does what I think it'll do. Let's try. So the first thing to do is let's give it a good mix. Pull up anything on the bottom and you can see it changing colors. If we were going to mix 2 ounces of the hard wax oil, we would use a ½ teaspoon of hardener and we would add it to it, mix it up. I don't need that much, so right here I'm going to start out with 1 ounce of the hard wax oil. I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of the hardener to it, mix it up, and then we'll make an application. All right, so I'm just going to spread this. And you can use a pad if you'd like. I'm going to use this silicone spreader and kind of squeegee it on. Yeah, you just really want to force it down in there. All right, let's remove the rest of the excess. Well, that's a nice looking color. Wow. Yeah, that oil and wax really makes it pop and shine. And this is just one coat. With walnut, I think 2 coats would be even better. Now, it's going to be dry to the touch by the time I finish rubbing this out, but don't want to recoat until tomorrow. That would be safe. And tomorrow is not as bad as waiting for the typical oil to dry over a couple of days. This is nice. Now let's see. Oh yeah, yeah, I like that. That smiles at me.
One of the frustrating parts of assembling a project is installing hardware and driving in screws. It may not really seem like it, but for something like this project where I'm attaching a Lazy Susan to 2 pieces of plywood, what I need to do is drive some small screws through this clearance hole to secure the Lazy Susan bearing. Now, what often happens is that I lose the screw down into a dark, confined hole. Ends up in the same place that all your missing socks go from the dryer. But there are a couple of solutions to this problem. One is to just use a small rare earth magnet. You can stick the magnet to the shaft of the screwdriver. Now that magnetizes the screwdriver and holds the screw in place, and I can just drive it in. Now you may not have a spare rare earth magnet hanging around, but there's another way to do the job too. And that's to grab a glue stick, just some regular ordinary craft glue. You just take it, put a little dab on the tip of the screwdriver, don't even have to wait for it to dry, and then slip the screw in place. There's enough tack between the glue and the screw to hold it in while you drive it in place. 2 easy solutions to keep you sane while you're driving and installing screws.
I'm just an average, down-to-earth woodworker. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably about a 5. But one place I score a perfect 10 is right here, and I plan on keeping all 10. That's why I have a SawStop table saw. And there's more. Plenty of power, superior dust collection, and absolute accuracy. These features have made it the best-selling cabinet saw in America. Let Highland Woodworking help you put a SawStop in your shop.
Ralph here from Wood Academy. Now, we all know Whiteside as a router bit brand and one of my favorites, but they're also now carrying a line of saw blades. I was working on a cutting board project and needed to rip down some hardwood. Walnut, cherry, and maple were no problem, and the cuts were consistently clean and smooth. This is a 10-inch, 30-tooth blade with a triple chip grind and a pretty aggressive 22-degree hook on the teeth. It provides smooth, clean cutting in solid stock, thick or thin.
Highland Woodworking stocks a wide selection of Rikon power tools, known for their innovative design and rugged durability. Highland has sold thousands of Rikon's industry-leading bandsaws with sizes to fit every woodworking need, from the compact, affordable 10-inch model to competitively priced 14 and 18-inch models. Shop us also for Rikon's reliable planers, lathes, and professional low-speed grinder, all with an exceptional 5-year warranty. Rikon Power Tools. If you can't make it to Highland Woodworking in Atlanta, Georgia, you can shop online at highlandwoodworking.com. They're great at getting what you want to your shop quick. Let Highland's legendary wood slicer resaw blade help make it easy for you to get great results sawing thick lumber into thinner boards. The wood slicer is designed to cut much faster, smoother, and quieter than ordinary bandsaw blades. You'll be amazed at how smooth a surface you'll get with a wood slicer. Its variable tooth pattern greatly reduces noise and vibration. Order a wood slicer from Highland Woodworking for your bandsaw today. When considering a workbench, you want to get a bench that will fit your work. If you are a wood carver, you want something smaller because you want to be able to get all the way around the work and you want to be able to hold it in front of you. If you're a generalist, somebody that's liable to do many different types of projects, you probably need a very long bench or as much bench as you can get. In my case, I start out with a lot of long lumber, over 6 feet sometimes. And so I need a bench that I can place it on, that I can move my patterns around on that piece of wood and have a nice surface to work off of without getting out sawhorses and some other things. So this bench, from one end to another, including the vise here, is 74 inches long. Is perfect for my shop. I don't have, I'm not really encumbered by so much clutter around me, and so this fits my space very nicely. And it's 23 5/8 of an inch wide. Now, I don't have a tool well. If I had a tool well, it would limit what I could place up here. And things might rock down into the tool well. I like a bench for my use that is long, wide, and solid. This bench is made of solid birch, 3 inches thick. It's a wonderful bench. I can do a lot of different things with it without having to add a sawhorse or something to the bench. So the vices are big, the top's big. Joburg has a bench that will fit your needs. For example, I'm a chair maker. I could sit a whole chair up here, front to back, and it sits very nicely. You can't do that if you have a small bench. So find the bench that you need and always choose a Joburg. Improve your woodworking experience. Sign up for Wood News Online, a monthly newsletter showcasing the latest news, tips, and classes Highland Woodworking has to offer. By signing up, you'll receive the latest episode of the Highland Woodworker, special store promotions, and Wood News Online delivered straight to your inbox. Sign up today. Well, that's about all the time we have for this episode of the Highland Woodworker. Don't forget to follow us on our social media channels. And until next time, I'm Charles Brock, and I'm a Highland Woodworker.